Hello, Jessica.
Hello, Melinda. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Yes. Welcome to the Global Virtual Summit 2025, Jessica. And
Thank
before
you.
starting your session, I want to introduce you to our audience, Jessica. Jessica Parker is the president of 𝐕𝐈𝐑𝐓 LLC, a cybersecurity and AI strategist, speaker, and researcher with over 25 years of experience in global information technology leadership. A doctoral candidate at Marymount University, her research focuses on the intersection of artificial intelligence, cybersecurity resilience, and risk management, translating complex technical challenges into actionable insights for business leaders. She holds a PMP certification, an MBA, a professional Scrum Master credential, and a network and data security certificate from Interisys. Through Wise Bites, Jessica delivers advisory services, speaking engagements, and educational content that help leaders project their organizations and preserve their legacy in an AI driven world. That was really a great bio, Jessica, and the stage is all yours.
Thank you so much. Well, welcome everybody. I hope that you are looking forward to this as much as I am today, and you are excited to see what we can do with AI, because if you're not using AI, you might be going out of business. Now, if you're using AI today, I'd love to hear about it in the chat. You might have a really great use case that I haven't thought of yet, because I certainly don't know everything. A little bit about me. I got a great introduction. One of the things I'm adding here is what I call my NASCAR slide. Much like how on NASCAR you've got all the brands on the fancy cars, these are a subsection of the brands I've worked with over my career. I've had the privilege of working with a lot of wonderful people at many great organizations, including a number of Fortune 500 companies that you're probably familiar with. Greetings to those folks just joining us. If you've got a great AI use case where you're using it in your business today, I'd love to hear about that in the chat. Now, here's the thing. Businesses benefit from AI. It's been in the news. You don't have to take my word for it. AI adoption has a huge impact, greater growth, greater shareholder returns for publicly held companies, and significant cost reductions. AI even boosts productivity by potentially tens, 20s, 30, who knows how many percent. AI handles a lot of workflows. You'll see this data from Salesforce. That was a recent article, in fact, just 2 days ago. Retail websites see greater revenue when they've got AI shopping assistants. In addition, 2/3 of leaders surveyed said they couldn't find the latest cyber threats and adequately protect their organization without AI. AI keeps their organizations safer. It's a must have. It's not just because I say so. We're going to talk about 3 key topics: moving fast while staying safe, how AI could be your support staff, and some tips for moving forward with AI. Jumping right in. You want to move fast and stay safe. As small business owners, you have incredible superpowers. You move with speed, flexibility, and you have a personal relationship with your clients. That speed gives you the ability to try something new. You don't have to go through 30 layers of bureaucracy to get approval to experiment with AI. You can jump right in, try something small. You have the flexibility to learn as you go. And while you're learning, you adapt. You can pivot and leverage those lessons learned to improve your use cases for how you're leveraging AI to make your business more effective, more profitable, and less stressful for you. That personal touch is truly a business owner's superpower, because that's you, your direct relationship with your customers, your clients, everyone you work with. AI cannot replace you. There's bottom line positive impact from implementing AI tools. You can get better quality. AI makes a great proofreader. I use Grammarly all the time. It will lower your costs because you no longer have to hire people to do some of these activities. And you get more revenue. You're able to do more with fewer people, deliver more, maybe take on new scope of work that you couldn't have done before because you've got AI automation powering some of your back end. I'm going to share a few sobering cybersecurity statistics that perhaps emphasize why I am so passionate about the importance of staying safe. The first one is 60%. 60% of small businesses that are the victims of a cyber attack will close their doors within 6 months of that attack. They don't survive. 60%. That's not good odds. And that 637 a day is 637 brand new attack vectors every day that Checkpoint Security discovered in 2024. 637 a day. Think about how hard that would be to come up with and defend against all of these new attacks if you didn't have the support of automation and the power of AI behind you. There are a number of risks, and I'm going to share how to avoid them because I'm really big on avoiding pain and suffering. That's why I focus on risks, because if I can manage them and mitigate them, I don't have to go through the pain. You have reputational risks that can happen as a side effect of any of these activities. When you're using AI tools, in particular, your customer data. What are you doing with your customer data? Are you putting that proprietary information into a public AI tool? You probably don't want to do that. You want to keep your customer data in-house. You don't want to overshare that with your tool. If your tool is one of those that comes with AI bundled in, you really want to understand, is it using your data to train that model? You can get over dependent on these AI tools because it seems so easy to just type in a question and get a magical response. However, that leads to the next risk. You can get bad AI advice. I think most of us have seen the recent news about lawyers who are submitting briefs to court, and they had fictional legal cases cited as precedent. Why did they have that? Because they asked a generative AI tool to produce the output and didn't take the time to verify it. There's a new one I've been seeing more recently, which is this fourth risk, the malware-infused AI tools. It's not hard for somebody to create a new front-end tool, say, ooh, there's this shiny new AI tool and you can use it to be more productive. It may even work. However, it may also come with a bonus feature that you don't want, malware, that's going to hijack your data, could cause ransomware. It could encrypt all your data so you can't use it. You really want to stay away from the shiny new tool and focus on those that have the reputation behind them. You want to use those brand name tools. You want to use Microsoft Copilot, maybe, ChatGPT, Canva, Grammarly. Use those organizations that have brand name behind them. And if you're not sure, you can always do a quick search online to see what their reputation and reviews are. If there aren't any reviews, you don't want to be the first to use that tool. You never know what kind of things you might get with it that you didn't expect. There are a number of simple security steps that you can take to protect yourself and your business. A lot of these will apply not only to your business, but you can apply these at home. You want to secure your systems. Basic things, automated updates. There's a checkbox on your phone, your tablet, your software support systems. If you've got an Apple or a Windows device, there's an option to enable automated software updates. Go ahead and do that. That will keep that individual device updated. If you have servers or software aside from that, you also want to keep those up to date regularly. that will protect you against vulnerabilities they may discover later in the software. In addition, part of securing your tools is using strong passwords. That's not password 1, 2, 3, 4. You want to have a complicated password, something that's hard for somebody else to guess, and it needs to be unique. That may mean you're using a password tool. Common one is OnePass, LastPass. There's a number of password management tools out there that you can access that are reputable. That might be the best way to keep track of your passwords. In addition to using your strong password, you also want to enable multi-factor authentication, sometimes called dual factor authentication, where you have maybe an app on your phone that produces a code that you type into the website you're trying to access that has this private personal data. I have that turned on for my website. Anytime I want to go in and make edits, not only do I put in my username, my password, then I have to provide a code off of an application that's installed on my phone, which is more secure than an SMS or text message. However, that's better than nothing. You want to choose those reputable tools. I talked about that a little bit. Don't use joesAItool.com because it's probably not going to be reliable. You want to make sure you're using a brand name. Double check that URL that it's going to the actual website because there are website copies out there. When you do get a tool that comes with artificial intelligence on it, you want to read that privacy policy. I know it's kind of boring. It's a lot boring, really. However, you want to read all of that fine print. For example, when I got a new car recently, I found out that my car was going to track my location data and send that back to headquarters if I enabled connected services. I didn't want it tracking my every move and sharing that with who knows who. At least they didn't share it with third parties. However, I chose to, upon reading that, decline that connected service. You may find when you read the privacy policy that it's not acceptable, in which case, find a different tool. That does somewhat lead to public AI, public data. What I mean by that is when you're using a tool like, say, a free version of ChatGPT, it's a great tool. It's got a ton of power and you can do a lot for free. Well, we all like free, except it's not really free. Remember that you're paying for the service with your data being used for training and your responses indicating how good their responses are. You're helping tune it, provide more data. You're transforming that model by using it. You're testing it, in effect, in production. If you put information in there, it could be spit out to somebody else later, which means using those tools, you might as well put information on a billboard in downtown. You don't want to do that. You want to go back to a private solution where you can keep the data secure and it's not sent back, not used for training, it's not shared with third parties. Those two bullets really go hand in hand. You always, 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 can't say it enough, want to keep a human in the loop. AI isn't perfect. It's going to give you information. However, you need to apply your human intelligence to that information. You might get back a whole beautiful looking report because you asked it to draft. Then you start digging in and find, oh, some of this stuff doesn't really make sense. Oh, this reference goes to a 404 page. Doesn't really exist. You need to go in and review the content carefully to make sure that the information you've got is information you stand behind. And I like to say life requires backup. Things happen. We can't predict everything. To mitigate the risk of losing that precious data, that information, you want to have a backup copy. And I don't just mean on the cloud. If you have 2 cloud services and 1 physical backup, that's the best way. Because that gives you overlap if one of those two services breaks down, doesn't get connected. If you can't get connected to the internet, having that physical copy means you can continue to proceed. But really thinking about What do you do if my internet service provider is down? If my website is down? What do I do if I can't get to my customer data files? How do I continue to operate? You want to have those what if scenarios planned out and then have a plan B. How do you work around it? What do you do if the worst comes to pass? If your computer breaks, if you don't have those files backed up and your computer breaks down, you might be out of luck. I don't like that. You want to always protect your customer trust. That means you're transparent about when you're using AI. For example, I'll share that I used AI to generate 100% of the graphics used in this presentation. I use Canva AI, I subscribe to that. It helps me make sure that I've got a consistent look and feel through my images. It's a great tool. You want to maintain the quality of what you're doing. Just because I used AI to generate the images doesn't mean I used AI to generate the deck. I did not. I went through step by step, built this information, and I made sure that everything I was getting out of the AI tool was what I wanted. Sometimes it took me 2, 3, 4 queries to get it. You are that human in the loop and you maintain the quality of that output. And even if you're using AI to generate drafts or short posts, you want it to still sound like you. And the only way it's going to sound like you is if you are involved in the production, which connects to staying personal, that human touch. You need to always be involved, that human in the loop. You'll hear that turn of phrase in technical circles. It means you can take the information out of AI and you can automate a lot of things. You still need to verify anything you get out of the tools. You can trust it to a certain extent. However, it will make things up. Emphasizing one more time the importance of securing your systems. The time you spend securing your systems today will save you immeasurable time and pain and suffering in the future. Here's where AI can get really cool. It can be your support staff. What do I mean by that? It can take things off your plate. You don't have to do it all. Business owners often wear multiple hats. Well, if you need to do content creation, I need to create blog posts, I need to have a social media calendar, you can actually go into the AI tool and say, hey, I need a week's worth of blog posts, or I need LinkedIn posts, I need TikTok videos. You can ask these AI tools for that information and they can generate drafts for you. I use the word draft. The tools don't tell you it's a draft. It's a draft. You want to look at it, examine it, tune it, tailor it, but it'll get you a good start and gets you way off the blank page. AI tools can also take care of some of those first-tier customer service questions. That's why chatbots have been so popular. Those chatbots can respond to those common, frequently asked questions dynamically with an interactive conversation online, and you don't have to do that. And you don't have to have staff in your office 24/7 to answer those common questions. Administrative work. Again, organizing checklists, drafting documents, drafting presentations, scheduling meetings. I use Calendly for my tool. It's not necessarily an AI powered tool, but it is powerful enough to say, hey, I pick a meeting and it shows up on my calendar. Somebody scheduled time and it shows up on my calendar and I don't have to do anything else but show up at the time it's been scheduled. That's way easier than back and forth emails or a little phone tag trying to get time scheduled with somebody. It's now powerful enough that it can be used for research. Some tools are better at research than others. Some will give you links that work. Some will give you links that might or might not work. There's a tool called Elicit with an E that is used by academics for research. I don't use it for 100% of my research because it only gives me back like 5 papers. What I do find it's really helpful for is when I need to look for something and I can't seem to come up with the right keyword to get the information I need. I'll use elicit and say, all right, I'm looking for this thing. And the tool will help me tune my question, and it'll usually bring back 5 papers, at least one of which has the information I'm looking for. That one gives me keywords. It also gives me what I call breadcrumb, because papers are typically cited by other papers. And now I can go look for where this breadcrumb trail leads. What papers did this one cite, and which papers have cited this paper? And I can find current research on my topic, as well as understand what are the keywords that are particularly used for that information. And then anything that's consistent and repeatable. We all know those tasks that we do over and over and over again. If it's one of those tasks that you do the same steps every single time, it's a great candidate for automation. It may or may not be AI-driven automation. However, it's a candidate for automation. AI-powered tools can do a lot for us. They're not to the point where I'm ready to trust them to go through my email and suggest which things I need to take action on, but they're getting pretty close. They're getting a lot better than they used to be. Now, I said there's some things it can do for you. AI can take a lot off your plate. You need to keep these. Why? Because you are the unique individual who's managing this. You're responsible for these things. Strategy decisions. AI can brainstorm. It can be your bouncing off where you try things back and forth, but it can't make your decisions for you. Or rather, you don't want it to make your decisions for you. You want to own your client relationships as well. That's the bread and butter of most small businesses. You want to use your brain for that creative problem solving. Again, you can brainstorm, get ideas, get options from an AI tool. You need to decide which one makes the most sense because only you have that complete context. And then quality. You need to make sure that the quality of the output meets your standards. I can't tell you that. The tool can't tell you that. You absolutely have to. And I'm glad to see questions popping up in the chat. I will address those as we get near the end. I absolutely have thoughts about the risks and whether or not AI can prevent data breaches. How do you know these tools are working? Well, you're going to see time savings. Things that used to take weeks are now going to take hours. You'll be able to get more done faster. You will see revenue growth because you were able to get more done faster, and you'll have the capacity to take on more clients. You'll also see quality metrics like customer service. You're meeting their needs. You're delivering on time. And you'll be less stressed because suddenly you won't feel quite so overwhelmed with the pile of tasks on your plate because you've been able to offload some of that work and make it easier. I talked about something that was taking weeks, taking hours. That's a very specific example. I was working on a project recently, and best estimate was it was going to take about 60 hours. Using the power of some paid AI tools, it took me 2.5. Huge savings of time. Made it so much easier for me. I love these questions. Talk about moving forward with AI. That opportunity is now. Charlotte asked, what's the biggest risk for businesses not using AI today? The biggest risk is that you will be overtaken. You will not be able to remain competitive in this environment if you are not leveraging AI tools. The other risk, besides competitiveness, is security. You'll need the power of these AI-driven cybersecurity tools to protect you against the risks that are out there. Can AI help prevent data breaches? It can. The right tools can absolutely reduce your risk of getting breached. Does it create more risks? It also does create more risks depending on how it's used. If you're using tools without proper security and policy in place, and you're using tools that contain information that's private, that can increase your risk. It happens that 95% of all data breaches are the result of human error. Humans are our biggest cybersecurity risk overall. As we slide into from today, when you can start and experiment with it, because you want to start small, you don't want to take on everything all at once. As you go into the next 6 months, you want to leap forward. You are going to be competitive as long as you do that. And next year, if you're not using it, you're left behind. Here's a quick recap. I'm going to give you the short one. AI adoption is not just about gaining an edge. It's about organizational survival. You protect your reputation by using high quality products, using high quality information, being efficient, effective, and protecting yourself and your data. And you protect your legacy with tech in the same way. Now I've got some information I can share with you, and I will also continue to take these questions. Did I answer your question, Denny, or do you need more?
Yes, thank you, Jessica. That was really a fantastic talk. And we have got some questions from our audience. I want to ask you one of them.
Mm-hmm.
What is the link between AI and cybersecurity resilience?
Because an AI tool can help you be more resilient, because AI can use a vast database of information, can go through, pull, and analyze all that's out there and produce a report to say, here's your top risks. That can help support your cybersecurity. It can actually be used to generate tabletop exercises, help you draft business continuity plans, develop cybersecurity policies and smart AI policies. It's a tool that can enable a lot of faster iterations through policy procedure, as well as act as that shield 24/7, protecting you against all the threats that are coming after you.
Thank you for answering. We got the answer. And thank you so much for your valuable time. We are very honored you are here today. Thank you so much. Please be on the backstage and please join the next session. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.